Hi friends, just like every other book and media related channel in your feed right now, I am here to give you fall recommendations. Except I'm here to give you over 100 of them.
Hello? Hello? Can anybody hear my voice? Anybody out there? Anybody hears me? Please respond.
I'll hit books first, and then movies, and then some TV shows. And because there are so many, I'm not going to go into detail on each one of them, so be prepared to screenshot like your life depends on it. I'm going to start with 5 fantasy books that are obvious. They're going to be on every single person's fall recommendations list that you see. First up is Six of Crows. You have heists. You have teenagers who are very angsty and dangerous. And you have a book that is solidly in the middle of 7 books in the same world. So if you want to binge, you absolutely can. I know that a lot of people say that you don't have to read the Shadow and Bone trilogy before you read Six of Crows. I think they are incorrect. I think that if you skip the trilogy, you miss a lot of the world building, you miss a lot of the magic system, and I think that you should just grow up and get through this trilogy, which I didn't love so much, but I thought it was very necessary to get into Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom, and then please don't skip King of Scars and Rule of Wolves. They're Nikolai's books, and he's one of the best characters. Do not skip that. Next up is the One Dark Window duology by Rachel Gillig. These are extraordinarily fall-coded. These people all live in a misty forest town. It's always cloudy, it's always dark. You have tarot card magic, very fall-inspired. And then from there you can get into Rachel Gillig's newest book, The Night and the Moth, which I read recently. I gave 5 stars. It's about a group of diviners who work for the equivalent of a church, and they drown in order to receive prophecies. Very cool, very fall-coded. And then we have 2 books by the same author, and that would be The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by V.E. Schwab. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue is about a girl who makes a deal with the devil, basically, and she lives forever, but no one ever remembers her. I would like to reread this soon. Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil is about toxic lesbian vampires. And I kind of think that's all you need to know. There you go. Come on. Oh, here to join us is my very fall-coded cat, Egg. If you haven't met Egg, this is her. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, meow. Okay, go on. Be free. So next is the fantasy that isn't quite as obvious. And first up there is another one from our last author, V.E. Schwab, with the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. These books are about an alternate universe where there are 4 different worlds kind of stacked on top of each other. And there are a few magicians within the world who can go between them. And there's like a blight that's killing one of the Londons. They have to figure stuff out. It's good. It's so good. And I think that London in general is fall-coded. So 4 Londons is fall-coded times 4. Wow. Okay, thank you so much. We also have A House of Salt and Sorrows by Erin E. Craig, and its sequel, House of Roots and Ruin. There will also be a 3rd book coming out next summer. Kind of gothic fantasy. The first book is about 12 sisters who live in this mansion by the sea, and one by one the sisters start disappearing. And I think it's based off of the 12 Dancing Princesses. Anyway, very fall. Meow. If you hear incessant purring, yeah, it's Egg. She won't leave me alone, so she's here with us. We also have The Butcher of the Forest by Premi Muhammad, which is about a woman who just wants to be left alone, but the king sends her into the dark, scary woods to retrieve his children. We also have The Crane Husband by Kelly Barnhill, which is a magical realism novella where a mom brings her new boyfriend home to her 2 kids, but her new boyfriend is actually a 6-foot-tall crane. This one's an allegory for domestic abuse, so check trigger warnings if that is something that applies to you. The last 5 in the fantasy category are some of my favorites of all time. First up is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher, which is about a woman who collects some found family characters and goes on a journey to kill a prince in order to save her sister. And honestly, anything by T. Kingfisher is kind of fall-coded, I think. At least everything I've read so far. We also have Every Heart a Doorway by Shauna Maguire, and actually we have the entire Wayward Children series by Shauna Maguire. These books are about kids who fall through portals portals to other worlds and then accidentally get pushed back to our world, and they go to this school to try and figure out how to get back to their perfect worlds because they are not happy in the real one. And they are incredible. Also, each of them is a novella. They're each like 160 pages. You could fly through this whole thing in like a day and a half. We also have a book that is not talked about enough. I have not seen enough of you fellow booktubers talking about it. Please read this book. It came out earlier this year. It's called When the Tides Held the Moon, and it's by Vanessa Vita Kelly. This is gay mermaids in a circus set, merman. Gay merman in a circus setting in like 1920s New York. But it's not cheesy in any way. I know that mermaids can lean kind of cheesy. It is not. And also, it's illustrated by the author. The author started out as an illustrator, and so she illustrated everything on here, which is incredible. Piranesi by Susanna Clark is also incredibly fall themed, I believe. I get fall vibes from it. This is also one of my favorite books in the entire world, if not my favorite. This might be my #1 book of all time. This is about a man named Piranesi who lives in an elaborate dreamscape labyrinthine palace situation. There are oceans and tides that flood certain halls at certain points in the day. It's like a big fucking fever dream. And there's like kind of a mystery thing going on through it that you wind up trying to figure out. It is incredible. Do not quit in the first 30 to 50 pages. You're not gonna understand what's happening, and that's intentional. No one understands what's happening. Okay, I'm back. We had to take a quick recess to take the dogs out. Last up is The Giver by Lois Lowry. This is also the only thing on this entire list that is anything like a classic. I'm failing because I have not read too many classics. One that I have and that is deeply ingrained in my heart is The Giver. If you did not have to read this in school, it is about a boy who lives in this dystopian, utopian future society where things like feelings are negated. They get like medicine to remove feelings from any kind of situation. And somehow that also means that they can't see in color. But this one boy is tasked with taking over the job of the old giver. He is the receiver of memories, because so many memories of human history have also been wiped from everyone's brains. It is an incredible book. It is short, and it should be on your list for fall. There are actually 2 more fantasy books, and I'm putting them in like a slightly different category because I didn't mesh super well with the books, but they are very, very, very fall coded. Huge fall vibes. Other people love them, so this might just be a me thing. And those 2 books are Starling House by Alex E. Harrow and The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshani Chokshi. I didn't hate these books. I gave them both like 3 stars, I think. They're not on par with these ones for me. Last Tale of the Flower Bride revolves around 2 girls who spent their childhood in like maybe a haunted house. Starling House is again about kind of a haunted house and the weird goings-ons that happen within the house. So I didn't love the books, but that doesn't mean that you won't. Hold on, let me let my cat in. Meow. Okay, go hang out. You have to stop meowing for the video. Okay, the purring is back. The next book category I have for you is horror, and I have 13 books to talk to you about today. Obviously, I think that most horror could be fit into the fall season. It makes you think about Halloween, spooky shit, but these are ones that I very much directly recommend to you. First up is Crypt of the Moon Spider by Nathan Ballingrud, which is about an alternate version of our world in which heavy space travel has been invented by the 1920s. And so this woman in the 1920s, her husband thinks she's crazy because she's depressed, and so he brings her on a shuttle to put her into a psychiatric hospital on the moon. And she's supposed to have brain surgery while she's there, where they put like ancient dead spider webbing into her brain to fix her shit. It's great, it's tiny, and there's a sequel coming out in late October. Next is Fantastic Land by Mike Bakoven. I read this book last year and I haven't stopped thinking about it since. It's about a theme park in Florida that gets hit by a hurricane and a few hundred employees have to stay there, and they're all like teenagers or people in their early 20s. They wind up getting stuck at this theme park for like 6 weeks and it turns into a Lord of the Flies situation. Absolutely incredible. Next we have Sour Candy by Keelan Patrick Burke. I read this 2 years ago. Again, tiny little book. A child child comes up to a man in a grocery store and claims that the man is his father, even though that he's not. But he has to take the kid back to his house, and it becomes this monster creature eldritch horror situation. Maybe I'll reread it. Next is another book that I read very recently, and that's When the Wolf Comes Home by Nat Cassidy. I can't tell you a whole lot about this because there's a big twist kind of early on that changes the entire premise of the book. But basically this woman finds a boy, a young child, and has to go on a road trip with him in order to get away from the boy's father, who may or may not be a werewolf. Next up is Monstrilio by Gerardo Samano Cordova. This is more of a literary horror. A woman has a son who passes away, and she cuts out a piece of his lung and uses that to grow a new son. But the son might not be very human-like. Then we have The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Khaw, which is, I think, a retelling of The Little Mermaid. It kind of is a Little Mermaid retelling, except The Little Mermaid is a wild, evil horror, and she has like 100 baby mermaids who just start eating everyone in town. And that's kind of it. Also very short. I fucking love a novella. Next is The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher, which is about a woman who finds a portal into another world in the back of her uncle's eccentricities shop. I know I'm going through these faster. It's because I realized that I am already recording for too long and I haven't even gotten to the movies yet. So we're gonna go faster. We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer is about a house that seems like it's kind of alive and two women who live there who start to go through some crazy shit. This is a fever dream book. Yeah, meow. It can be confusing. You don't always know what's going on. Even after the book is done, you won't know what's going on. But if you go to the Reddit page for it, you can get involved in some crazy theories. Next is a book I love with my whole heart, and that's Whale Fall by Daniel Kraus. This was one of my favorite books that I read in 2023. And again, not just like, oh, you can't even see it. Just like When the Tides Held the Moon, not enough people are talking about this book. This is about a boy whose father has taken his own life in the ocean off his boat, and the boy goes into the ocean. He goes scuba diving to try and find his father's body, and in the process of doing so gets eaten by a whale. He gets swallowed Pinocchio style by a whale, and the book is him trying to figure out how and if he can get out. But it's also a reflection on grief and family trauma. And each of the pages is marked by the PSI that's left in his scuba tank. So it's really cool. It's very unique, I think. Next up, we have A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. Another tiny little novella. This is about a man who wakes up in hell. He died. He's in hell. Turns out his religion was wrong, and hell for him, because each hell... No, egg. Where are you? Where was I? Turns out everyone's hell is personal to them, and this man's personal hell is that he finds himself in a library with a literally endless amount of books, and he can't leave, he can't move on until he finds the book that precisely tells his life story. The next two books are by the same author, and that is A Certain Hunger and An Excellent Host by Chelsea G. Summers. My mom is the one who first told me to read A Certain Hunger. She wrote a little note in it because she loved it so much, and I loved it. This is about a woman, a food critic, who decides to start cooking and eating every man that she's ever loved. And then her second book. This was a hard to get novella. I don't think it was available just in general at bookstores, but it's about a group of women who invite a man to dinner, and he believes they're gonna have a fun, sexy, good time, and they have other thoughts on the situation. Last up for horror is Comfort Me with Apples by Catherine M. Valenti. This is another one that I can't talk a whole lot about because you don't really understand what's going on until the end, but essentially this woman lives in a beautiful, perfect, utopian gated community with her husband. She fulfills traditional gender roles, and then one day she finds someone else's hair in a hairbrush and also a bunch of human bones around the house, and she tries to figure out what the f is going on. Once again, tiny little novella. And that's what I have for horror. I'm gonna give you 7 recommendations for sci-fi books. Well, technically 8 because there's a little duology in here, but first up is the Psalm for a Wild-Built duology by Becky Chambers. This is very much a cozy fall type duology, and I don't even like cozy books. I'm not a cozy girl, but this was so wonderful and had so much to say about the state of the world that I could not resist. This is about a utopian future where we find a tea monk who's not so satisfied with their place in the world anymore. So they go on this personal journey. They run into a robot, and robots a few years prior had gained consciousness and decided to all leave and go into the forest and just f off and never be seen again. So the tea monk runs into this robot and they go on like a really cute little adventure. Next up for sci-fi is, of course, The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Hunger Games, Catching Fire, Mockingjay. I didn't like The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but you know, just like get it out of the way, get it over with. And then Sunrise on the Reaping. All of these. Very fall vibes for me. I wind up rewatching the movies every fall also. It's also really relevant right now, at least in the country that I live in, because it kind of feels like we're heading towards our own personal Hunger Games, which is terrifying. Oh, if you don't know what The Hunger Games is about, I don't know how to help you. I don't think I have to explain this one to you. Next up is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. This is about a man who gets kidnapped and pushed into a life that isn't his own. He gets hit over the head, wakes up in a universe that looks just like his, but he doesn't have his family anymore. He's not married to his wife. His kid doesn't exist. He has a different job. And he tries very hard to get back to his family. It's a time fuckery book. Anything that messes with the boundaries of space and time, I call them time fuckery books, and it's my favorite category of book, and that's one of them. Speaking of, another one is This Is How You Lose the Time War by Amal El-Motar and Max Gladstone. I don't know how to properly impress upon you how incredible this book is. You have two opposite sides of a time war at some point in the future, and each has an agent, red and blue, who are trying to win this time war. And it's a sci-fi book, but at the core of it, it's a love letter. It is a deeply romantic love letter. Red and blue leave each other notes in like the ashes of faded worlds, and they start falling in love, and it's absolutely incredible. If you have not read this, read it. But again, like Piranesi, stick with it. You're not gonna understand what's going on at first. That's on purpose. Stick with it because it's one of the best books you'll ever read. Next is a book that I have never seen talked about except for on my channel, and that's The Tusks of Extinction by Ray Naylor. Again, tiny little novella. There's a theme going on here. I do fucking love a novella. This is about a future in which we have brought back the woolly mammoth and they're living in parks. Tourists can visit them, scientists can study them, but they don't seem to be thriving, and so they upload the consciousness of a former scientist who was brutally murdered while they were doing conservation work. They upload her consciousness into the brain of a woolly mammoth so that she can teach the other mammoths how to survive in this new world. It's cool. It's a very cool book, and no one's fucking read it, so read it. Two more for the sci-fi category, and first up is Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer. One of my favorite books of all time. I know it's a little polarizing, I guess. Some people hate it. I fucking loved it. There's an area in the United States that has been taken over by something foreign, something from another planet, seemingly. They keep sending scientists in, and none of them ever come back. There have been like 12 teams that have been sent in. No one comes back, everyone stops communicating, they never hear from any of them ever again. They send a group of women in, they're all different kinds of scientists, they're trying to figure out what the hell happened. And that's kind of all I can tell you. This is this feels like literary sci-fi to me. There are big themes going on. There's gonna be a lot of confusion again, but just stick with it. I just love it. I love it so much. And last, if I can get this out of here, last is one of the best sci-fi books you'll ever read, and one that you'll be able to watch in theaters in March, and that is Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. In this book, a man wakes up on a spaceship, and he has no idea why he's there. He's not a fucking astronaut. He doesn't understand anything. He doesn't remember anything, but there are two skeletons next to him. So there were other people that were supposed to be with him. They're dead. And he has to go about things and figure out why he's there, what his purpose is. I'm not gonna say anything more than that, but I beg of you, if you're gonna read this, read it before you watch the trailer for the movie. And definitely read it before you watch the movie. Very lastly for books, I have two nonfictions for you because I love a certain type of nonfiction, and the two that fall in this category I think they'd be good for fall reads. They'd be good for any time of the year, but fall feels right. Kitchen Confidential by Anthony Bourdain and Ocean, Earth's Last Wilderness by David Attenborough. Kitchen Confidential is what made Anthony Bourdain a household name. It's the first parts of his life. It is about his love for the food industry and the world and travel and other cultures and the different kinds of people around the world. Ocean And now finally we are going to talk about movies. And as a disclaimer, not all of these are set in the fall. They just have fall vibes to me. They just feel fall-like in my personal opinion. And I have 53 movies to tell you about. And for these, no details. Absolutely no details because there are 53 of them. And I have separated them into 8 perfect categories. Somehow, all 53 movies fall into one of these 8 categories. And the first set of movies that gives me fall vibes is anything set in New England, the Pacific Northwest, Ireland, or inside or right outside of Philadelphia. And that includes National Treasure, Hocus Pocus, Good Will Hunting, Girl Interrupted, The Iron Giant, Shutter Island, It Chapters 1 and 2, The Witch, The Mist, The Goonies, Coraline, Twilight, The Sixth Sense, The Village, Prisoners, Banshees of Inisherin, and The Wonder. Also, I'm assuming Practical Magic and Dead Poets Society would fit nicely in here, but I haven't seen either of these, so take that with a grain of salt. Category 2 is movies with a seemingly non-human entity that is at least a little bit hot, which includes Donnie Darko, Crimson Peak, Rocky Horror Picture Show, Interview with the Vampire, Pan's Labyrinth, and Treasure Planet. Category 3 for fall movies is a lot of Timothée Chalamet movies. A lot of Chalamet movies to me have fall vibes, including Bones and All, Interstellar, Lady Bird, I guess, although I think I'm the only person on the planet who didn't like Lady Bird, Little Women, and Beautiful Boy. Obviously things like Call Me By Your Name and Dune are not on here because those in my mind, those belong in the summer. The 5th category of movies that belong in the fall are anything that have to do with magicians. And that's like The Prestige, The Illusionist, and the Now You See Me franchise. Now You See Me is also getting a new movie this fall. Number 5 of these categories that I have created for your enjoyment is pretty much anything James Wan. So the Conjuring movies, the Insidious movies, the first Saw, Malignant, obviously not Aquaman, and obviously not Fast and Furious 7. But what is autumnal, and I'll die on this hill, is Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. And this is one of the only ones that I couldn't fit neatly into one of the other categories. I will die on that hill. The only other 2 fall vibe movies that I couldn't fit into one of these categories are About Time and Zodiac, which would make for a really awesome doubleheader. The next category is a surprising amount of Jennifer Lawrence movies, including Silver Linings Playbook, Mother, Hunger Games, and Passengers. The penultimate category for fall-themed movies is hot guys in masks. And obviously this includes Scream, Phantom of the Opera, The Batman, Princess Bride, and Silence of the Lambs. And if you don't agree with me on this, if you don't agree with me that all of these men are hot men in masks, there's something wrong with you, not with me. I'm right, actually. The final category is anything Tim Burton has produced or directed. And this one feels obvious. Obviously, we're gonna have Corpse Bride, Nightmare Before Christmas, Big Fish. Big Fish could be spring or fall, I think, in my brain at least, but I'm putting it in fall just so I can talk about it. I don't think enough people have seen Big Fish. Edward Scissorhands, James and the Giant Peach, Beetlejuice, and Sweeney Todd. All very fall. When the weather starts getting dark, when it starts raining, put on any Tim Burton movie and you're set. I was going to make a redacted category, like all fall movies have hot people, but it would take way too much time because there's too many hot people. Wow, I got through the movie part of that really fast. I hope you've been screenshotting like your life depends on it. And now we are at TV shows. And the first one I'm going to talk about is also one that I started rewatching last week for the first time in 5 years, and that's The Leftovers. The Leftovers is basically about the rapture, or what people believe is the rapture. 2% of the planet suddenly just disappears, and Discount Charlie Swan is there to try and figure out what the fuck happened. I know 2% might not sound like a lot, but the 2% of the planet is hundreds and hundreds of millions of people who just vanish. Second up is anything by Mike Flanagan. My favorite by him is Midnight Mass. Midnight Mass is absolutely insane. It's about these people who live on an island and people start dying. It's been a few years since I've watched it. I'm gonna rewatch it in October, so I'll have more thoughts. He also did The Haunting of Hill House and The Haunting of Bly Manor. All incredible. We love Mike Flanagan. Third, for TV shows that I recommend you watch this fall is Criminal Minds. If you're okay with blood, that's a plus for this. If you're okay with hot people being on your screen at all times, that's a plus for this. Next is a little controversial inside my own brain, and that's 1899. I think it's a Netflix original. It was so good, but I cannot in good conscience recommend that you actually watch this because you will be frustrated like I was. It needed more seasons. It needed more airtime, but it got canceled after one season. So if you're okay watching something incredible, but then also being really frustrated that you don't get to watch more of it at the end, watch 1899. Next up is kind of a documentary, but like not really. It's Prehistoric Planet. I mean, I think fall is dinosaur time. It's like you're watching footage of dinosaurs. I had to throw something Animal Planet related in here. Next up is Fleabag, which arguably created the concept of a hot priest. That's all I'll say. It's so funny. It's 2 seasons, but it's like 6 hours total or something. It's so easy to get through and it's so incredible. Next is another throwback, and that's Gossip Girl. It's been years since I've rewatched it. I've had the hankering, I've had the urge. Gossip Girl to me is such a fall show, and it makes me feel like I'm young again, like I'm not an old lady who has to deal with responsibilities and things now. I love going back to Gossip Girl. It reminds me of a simpler time. Another one I recommend for fall time is The Great. The Great is a great show. Not enough people have watched this. Not enough people are talking about this. We have Nicholas Hoult, we have Elle Fanning, and it's hilarious. It's so good. Don't be put off by the fact that it's about historical figures. It's funny and it's sexy and it's incredible. I have 6 more shows for you, and that includes Law & Order SVU. If you can handle the trigger warnings, SVU. There are unlimited seasons. I don't care about regular Law & Order. I don't know if that's a hot take or not, but SVU, this is my family. This is my actual family. This has been my family since I was like 3 years old. I got to meet them. I got to go on set in like 2017, 2018. I got to go to the set in New York and meet, I'll find the photo for you, and I got to meet Mariska. My brain was exploding. I cried in front of her. It was embarrassing, but like, I'm not ashamed of it. I love her. That's my other mother. There's also a show called Sense8, which I don't think enough people have watched. But basically one day 8 people wake up and they're all connected by their minds. It's a sci-fi show. It's also extremely gay. So if you want gay sci-fi, Sense8 is the one for you. I also believe fall is the perfect time to rewatch Skins. If you haven't in a while like me, it's time to rewatch Skins. And I mean Skins UK. I mean only Skins UK. If I catch you watching Skins US, done. You're done for. Skins UK is the only way to go. The amount of incredible top tier actors that have come out of Skins UK is kind of insane, including Nicholas Hoult, who I already talked about, Dev Patel, Daniel Kaluuya, Jack O'Connell. The amount of people I love that came from this show is insane. And if you don't know what Skins is about, it's Euphoria on even more drugs. It's British Euphoria, which inherently means it's gonna be that much f***ing crazier because the Brits are out of their mind. We're in the last 3. Next up is Andor. In my opinion, Andor is the kind of show that you can watch even if you're not a Star Wars person. Each episode looks like a movie. It is beautiful. Diego Luna is incredible in it. Adria Arjona is the most beautiful woman I think I've ever seen in my life. Liv Tyler in Lord of the Rings. So even if you're not a Star Wars buff, I think this is one that you can get into. Penultimately, we have The Walking Dead. What better time to rewatch or watch, if you haven't before, The Walking Dead than fall time? It's zombies. I will recommend Walking Dead over pretty much any other show, almost any other show. But the one show that I recommend higher is also the last recommendation for fall. Technically, this show reminds me more of summer. It's more of a summer show. But guess what? It premiered in the fall. If you don't know what's coming by now, you don't know me well enough because I do not shut the f up about Lost. I will never shut the f up about Lost. You should watch Lost in the fall. You should watch Lost in the winter, in the spring, in the summer. It doesn't matter. I don't care when, in this moment, whenever you're watching this, go watch the pilot. It, at the time, was the most expensive pilot ever filmed. It is the best show on planet Earth. It is the best thing I've ever watched in my life. I will never love anything more than Lost. I feel very passionately about this. And if you don't know what it's about, basically an airplane crashes on an island and then a bunch of spooky, weird shit starts happening. It's sci-fi, it's mystery, it has the most incredible cast, it has my love, Saeed, my man. This is my fucking man, stay away from him. Oh, my battery is dying, so I gotta go. Anyway, watch Lost. And that's it. That's all 100 plus recommendations I have for you. Books, movies, TV shows. If you know of any that you think I might like, anything, books, movies, TV shows, please let me know in the comments. I've already read and watched everything that I told you here, so I'm always looking for new things. If you're going to watch or read anything that I mentioned here today, also please let me know, because I want to fucking yap with you about it. If you disagree with me on anything I said here,
keep it to yourself.
I think that's it. October will have started by the time I upload this, which is crazy. We have 3 months left of the year. I don't know how the f that happened. But anyway, that's it. It was nice to see you. If you can hear me, if you can read the subtitles, I love you. Thank you for being here. Have an incredible October, November, December. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Genie in a bottle, baby. Gonna rub me the right way, honey. Stop. 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 You're not straight, and neither am I. Gonna like what you do. Egg. Egg, and bury our bones in the midnight soil. 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 In the soil. Yeah. Yeah. I am trying to film.
Wait, one more.
Okay. Ow, ow.
Okay, bye.
Hey, hey, egg, egg, egg. This is about a man. Edward Scissorhands. Hams? Scissor hams? Edward Scissor Hams. 6 is Fleabag. Fleabag.